Hi there. Welcome to week 7. Let's go right into week 7 on SEMnet. We have chapter reading, the quiz, and we have 3 projects. I will be walking you through this how-to video using Guided Project 4-3. There is a resource file that you will need to download. Go ahead and put that somewhere on your hard drive or your desktop, wherever you may be working from. And then go ahead and start your file. Click your Enable button, enable editing if you need to. Save. Let's take a look at our surroundings. We have 2 worksheets within this workbook, Paste and Projected. Here you'll see we're dealing with a column for month, image, patients, total hours, number of employees. We're dealing with multiple years starting in 2013, and ending in 2017. Expense info sheet does not have anything on except for a couple of items in different rows. We will be adding to those. Let's copy this paste and projected worksheet. We are going to move the sheet before the expense info. We're going to create a copy. Double click into paste and projected and name it Advanced Filter. Make sure to capitalize the A and the F, and that should do it. Go ahead and click enter, and now you're going to create and format an Excel table. So on the Advanced and Filter worksheet, select cells A4 to E60. Click the Quick Analysis tool and choose Tables. Click Table, and now you see we've created a table. Click the More button. We're already in Table Tools, Design. They want the More button for the table styles. I apologize that the instructions aren't more specific. We are working with SEMnet to kind of clean up some of those instructions so that they're a little bit more clear. Select Table Style, Medium 15, Light, Medium, Dark, and we want 15. These are 7 in a row, so Table Style, Medium 15. Next, you're going to create a criteria range for an advanced filter. Select cells A4 through E4 and copy and paste them into G4. So I'm just going to right click, then copy, go over to G and do Control V. In cell G3, type criteria range, and up in your area here for the formula bar is a little check mark. That's your enter. Go ahead and just click him one time. That accepts this writing instead of having to hit tab or click on your enter key. Then that way in 6C, or excuse me, 6B, you were able to change the font to Cambria and the size to 16. Adjust column K width to show the complete label. So you see in E we have number of employees all in one line. We are just going to adjust K just so that employees is on one line. So leave your number of above, like total is, and then hours in the bottom. Next, go to cell G8 and then type in extract range. Again, in your formula bar, just to the left, click on the check mark to enter. Change it to the same font, which is Cambria, and then the size is 16. And then copy the labels from G4 to K4. I'm just going to right click and we're going to put that in G9. And for that, I did do a right click. Go ahead and press the escape key so that we can stop copying. Number 7 says to create an advanced filter. G5 is where you want to go, and you want to type the greater than sign 123116. So anything greater than 123116, and then an H5, you will type MRI. Okay, and then hit your enter. And then in cell H6, you're going to type in CT scan and then enter. These criteria will find records dated 2017 or later for the MRI. So anything later or dated 2017 or later for the MRIs, and then in the CT scan, it will take from any year. So now take a look at D, 7D. Click a cell in the table. Click the Advanced button. You will find that in the Data, Sort and Filter group, Advanced. Click the Copy to another location. So in this dialog box, Advanced Filter, we want to copy this to another location. Yes, our list range will be A4 to E60, all of this. And then click into your criteria range. Well, what's your criteria range? We've set the criteria range, and that is G4 to K6. Greater than December 31st, 2016 for MRI and any of the CT scans. Where do you want to put your copy to? We want to put it in G9 to K9. So you've set your criteria here, and this is where we want to dump all that information. Go ahead and click OK. And then now you can see that the CT scans for any year has been pulled from this master list here. So we've got 2013, 2014, 2015, 16, and it looks like a couple of 17s. And then in regards to the MRIs, anything greater than the 31st of December 2016 got dumped in here. So we've got a couple of those. We've got January and May of 2017. And you can take a look over on the left here to see, are there any other MRIs that are different months? And there aren't. It's just May and January. That's a pretty cool feature to use. Okay, let's take a look. Now, in J, it does says important. If your PC is set to display dates in the DD, that's for date, and then MMM for the month, dash YY for the year format, your results may appear different from the figure that we're looking at. Okay, so just make sure that you've got that set the right way. Okay, 8. Now let's apply some conditional formatting. Select cells I-10 down to I-25. Click the Conditional Formatting button. That's in the Home tab. In the Styles group, open that up. And now let's highlight cell rules and then go ahead and choose greater than. Format cells that are greater than. Mine defaulted to 750, but we want to type in 751. We're asking it to find any of these cells that are greater than 751. Looks like there's 3. But my color is defaulted to light red. In 8D, it says to choose the fill color, or choose green fill with dark green text. So do your drop-down box green fill with dark green text. Now you see that anything greater than 751, and there's only 3, are highlighted. Go ahead and click OK. Click the expense information sheet now. We're going to import a comma separated values text file. Select cell A3. Click the From Text button. So you're going to go into Data. From Text is in the Get External Data group. And find and select the Clemson Expense Data-04. Now, we did talk about this text import wizard, and you take a look in this preview window, you see a couple of things going on. We know that it's going to be delimited. As we talked about in class, characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. You do see commas listed. Okay? So after you've done that and you've imported, make sure that you are selected. You do have delimited selected. Click the Next. Click to remove the check mark from tabs and select comma. And then instead of clicking Next, we're just going to go ahead and click Finish. We're now going to click OK. And now let's insert 2 rows at row 3. Left click row 3, right on top of that 3, and hold it down and go down to row 4. Then right click and then click your insert. This gives you 2 rows right above the number 3, which is now our number 5. In cell A4, type representative, and date in B4, and in C4 type amount. So representative is the name of the people listed below, starting in A5, the date, and then the amount. We're going to auto-fit column C, and that means you're just going to go right in between C and D, and make sure that your pointer churns shapes, and when it has the plus sign with the 2 arrows facing left and right, just double click, and that's your auto-fit. Click in cell A5, and now let's click the Sort and Filter button. That is found in the Home tab in the Editing group on the far right, and we want to sort A to Z. Now we've got Alan, Bashir, and then so on down to McAllister. Click in cell 5 at A5 again, and now let's click the Subtotal button. That's in the Data tab, Outline group, far right. And this just quickly calculates rows of related data by inserting subtotals and totals. So for example, we just got done sorting alphabetically, so you should see some subtotals for Mary Jo here, Atif, then Elizabeth, and then Gomez, and then McAllister. So let's try this. So go ahead, if you're in A5, click your subtotal. What do we want to sort by? Well, how do we want to do this? At each change in, you want this to choose by representative, not by the date or the amount. We want to go by representative because I want to see how much each person is making, right, over that first quarter. So we've got January, February, March. Well, I want to see for the function, I don't want it to add up. We're going to change this to average. What are they making per average for each of those months in that quarter? Check the amount box for the add subtotal to. And then don't touch anything else down here, just go ahead and say OK. And now you can see that for 3 months or the first quarter, Mary Jo's average was $691, and then so on down for each person with a grand total. Let's go ahead and take a look at column C, and we are going to change these values to currency with no decimals. And now we're going to use some goal seeking. This is a definite nice feature to have. Click in cell E4, and we are going to type target March expense. Select cell C8, which is Mary Jo's average, and now let's click the What If Analysis button. Okay, so that is found in Data, Data Tools, and then look in Forecast, so What If, and now you need Goal Seek. And so set the cell to C8, and in the to value box, we want to set it for 600, and we want to change the cell to C7. So let's take a look to see what we have here. In cell C8, we want to set this value to 600. But to change that, we're probably going to have to change her C7, her March average, to 600 as well. That's all that means. So go ahead and click OK. And you notice that both of those changed. Note the target expense, and now click Cancel. So it goes back. Type 600 in cell F5, and don't forget the $sign. Collapse the outline groups. This is for 13. In cell 13A, collapse row 12, and that's just this minus sign. We're just going to collapse it. It's not going to a plus. Now go ahead and do 16, 20, and 24. We're now going to put in a pivot table. Click in the Paste and Projected Sheet tab. Select cells A4 to E60. You must select the range to display the Quick Analysis tool. So now we are going to click on the Quick Analysis tools. Choose Tables. Point at several different pivot table options to see the line preview. And you want to choose the option that shows a sum of each field. So I think for me it's the fourth one in from the far left, and you can see in figure 4-96 on your instructions as an example. So go ahead and choose that. Name the sheet, or rename it as Pivot and then Table, and then click Enter. Now we're going to add a pivot chart to this pivot table worksheet. Click a cell within the pivot table. In 15B it says click the pivot chart button. So we're already in Pivot Table Tools, Analyze. On the far right underneath of the Tools section is the pivot chart. 15C says click Line in the All Charts area, and then choose Line with Markers. Click OK. Next, position the chart to the right of the pivot table. And I like to skip a column, so here I'm skipping column E. That just gives it a clean look. It's completely up to you and whatever your taste is, or if you're doing something like this for your boss. you know, maybe set it up how you like it, and if they want to change it, of course, they may change it, but this is just pleasing to my eye, and that's why I skip a column. Okay, now in the pivot table chart fields pane, click to remove the check mark for number of employees. So on the far right, we want to get rid of the number of employees. So you see that in this chart we have it here, but we also have it here, number of employees. And to get rid of that, you're going to do it over here and just delete or deselect the employees check mark, and now you see that those two areas are now gone. The pivot table and the pivot chart are linked so that the fill is removed from the table and the chart. The task pane toggles between the pivot table and the pivot chart fields panes based on which element is active. And that I just read from 15F if you wanted to know about the connection. I am going to pick this up a little bit more and now move it over to the beginning of E. Now let's take a look at 16. We're going to remove the locked property. Click on the Paste and Projected Sheet tab and select cells C5 to E26, or E60, excuse me. So again, that's C5 to E60. Right-click on any of the cells in the range, and now you're going to go to Format Cells. Click the Protection Sheet, and that's the Protection Sheet tab. Now you're going to clear the check mark for locked. We're just going to take that out. Locking cells or hiding formulas has no effect until you protect the worksheet. And we're going to do that next. Go ahead and click OK. Now click the Protect Worksheet button. That is found in the Review tab, in the Changes group. And be mindful, not the Protect Workbook. We just want to do this worksheet within the workbook. So, Protect Sheet. Click to place check marks for the selected cells, and those are there, selected cells, and select Unlock. So those are normally defaulted to that. And then your password to unprotect the sheet is 321. So type in your password, click OK, and then it's going to say yes, confirm your password, and that's 321, and then just click OK. Now just save it, save your workbook, and I'm going to do mine one last time just because I want to make sure that I did it correctly, and let's get this uploaded and let's see how we did. So you only have a couple of more assignments. Go ahead and try those 2 independent assignments on your own independently. If you get stuck, let me know, and use the Ask Dr. Barnes a Question tab within the Blackboard. And I did get 100. Take your time when you're doing this. Start memorizing where some of those buttons are in Excel. All right, everybody, good luck.